In this episode of the Ask David P show, we find out why auctions are far more popular on the East Coast than they are in Perth. Every week in my real estate career at the agency, it seems like someone will make the comment that auctions are just not very popular in Perth. And it's true. Last weekend in WA, there were only 100 scheduled auctions. And we compare that with Victoria, which had over 1,800 auctions, and New South Wales that had about 1,300, it becomes quite clear how much more popular auctions are on the East Coast when compared to Perth. And in fact, it was only Tasmania and the Northern Territory that had less auctions than Perth did across the whole of Australia. And the reason why auctions are so popular on the East Coast has to do with the legal system. In fact, over in Melbourne and many other parts of the country, when you make a traditional offer and acceptance to buy a property, it has a cooling off period attached. So let's explain what that cooling off period actually means. If you're a buyer looking to buy a home in the eastern states and you made an offer on a property, you would actually have anywhere from 3 to 5 days to be able to pull out of that deal with the cooling off period. So you could not actually have to proceed with buying that property because of that cooling off period. And that can be a very nervous time if you're the seller. Now, in the Perth real estate market, cooling off periods don't apply to any of our contracts unless they're actually written in. So the only time a cooling off period applies to pretty much any sales in Perth is if it's a door-to-door salesperson or perhaps someone selling something to you over the phone. So what does all this have to do with auctions? Well, real estate agents and the industry in the eastern states, to combat the cooling off period and people walking away from deals, decided to use auction as the method of sale. Because auctions don't have a cooling off period attached. And in fact, quite often the auctions are unconditional in their nature, which means you have to make an unconditional offer or make a cash offer, and you don't necessarily have the ability to do termite checks and building checks on that property if you're the winning person at auction. So essentially you have to proceed through to the final sale and come up with the money. So even though auctions are not quite as popular in Perth, you should still consider them when it comes time to sell your home, as they create a lot of competition amongst the buyers and generally get your home sold in a shorter period of time. In the next coming episodes of the Ask David P show, we'll look into more details about how you can use auctions, and we'll also look at the different types of auctions that are going digital in the Perth market. So this is the Ask David P show, where you get to ask the real estate questions and I get to answer them. If you have a real estate query, leave it in the comments below and I'll try and answer it on the next show.